Fourth part. Fourth part. We have the third line of defense. So first part is an introduction to the immune system, composed of the first line of defense. So mostly your cells, your skin. Then the second and third lecture was all about uh, second line of defense, so non-specific internal immune response. And then now we have the fourth part, ito yung pinaka-importante, we have the third line of defense. Okay, so let's proceed. Self versus non-self. You have to have parang self-consciousness in order to fight off pathogens. So, have you asked yourselves the question, who am I? Okay, di ba? Sino ba ako? So, yung mga cells natin, yung immune cells natin, they usually ask themselves, who am I? Is this a part of the body I'm working in? So, let's say, si white blood cells, si plasma cell. Pag may nakita siyang cells, ako ba to? Kilala ko ba to? Parte ba to ng katawan na ginagalawan ko? Kapag tinignan niyo yung ID nito, walang ID na nagsasabing part siya ng katawan, papatay niya yon. Okay? So, there is self versus non-self awareness. So, lymphocytes react on special surface glycoproteins encoded by genes called major histocompatibility complex genes. They produce the ID of each cells called the major histocompatibility complex proteins. MHC, may dalawa tayong types. We have MHC1 and MHC2. It's not important for us. I won't discuss kung sino yung may 1 and 2. You just have to note that there are different MHCs na ginagamit ng cells natin, ng iba't ibang cells as their IDs. In humans, it's also called the human leukocyte antigens or HLA proteins. Ito nga yung sabi ko hindi na natin discuss. Class 1 MHC, almost all nucleated cells. So, let's say your cells in your eyes, cells in your stomach, cells in your skin. Okay? So, sino yung merong class 2 MHC? Mostly, these are your immune cells. So, macrophages, B cells, activated T cells, cell in the interior of the thymus. So, they are the ones na naghahanap, tinitignan nila, okay, pumunta sila sa stomach nyo. Tapos, may mga cells sa stomach, cells ba to ng katawan? Okay, pumunta sa may eyes, sa blood vessel sa eyes. Okay, may pakalat-kalat ba na hindi cells ng katawan? So, hindi na-determine ng mga class nung mga cells na mayroong class 2 MHC. Tinitingnan nila yung class 1 MHC ng mga cells. Okay? So, paano ba to nag-work? So, let's say, diba, sa school, sabi natin, no ID, no entry. So, ang bawat cell dapat possess an ID. So, ano yung ID nila? Ang ID nila yung MHC proteins nila. Pero medyo parang kabaligtaran yung sa cells natin. If there is no ID, actually, pathogens can enter. Kasi, hindi sila makikilala ng mga leukocytes natin, ng mga lymphocytes natin. Parang pwede natin sabihin na medyo bobo yung mga pathogen kasi may mga ID sila eh. Meron sila mga proteins na saan makikilala sila nung mga white blood cells natin. Pero kasi kaya sila merong mga proteins na to so that they can infect the body. Without these proteins, they won't be able to infect. So para siyang double-edged sword. Pang-infect, pero this will determine ng kung sino sila ay sila yung ID ng mga pathogen. So, paano ba ito nagwo-works? Okay, so lakihan lang natin to. Remove lang natin si no ID, no entry here. Ayan. So, let's say you have this lymphocyte and then there's an antigen presenting cell. Let's say this is a macrophage. This macrophage has eaten a pathogen. So, kumain siya ng pathogen, na-destroy niya. Ang gagawin is merong ganito, merong masisira yung pathogen. What will the MHC do is that it will bind what will the antigen presenting cell do is that it will bind the uh, dead pathogens debris to an MHC. So, kapag na-bind na niya yon, you will have another cell with an MHC that will identify the MHC antigen complex. So, ulitin natin. This is a antigen debris, MHC protein. This is called the antigen MHC complex. Bawat leukocyte, meron silang specific na ganito, or lymphocyte that will specifically determine kung ano tong na-form na to. Let's say, this square and then this structure, meron silang specific na ID. Ito medyo triangular, so yun yung mag-ID. Lock and key concept tayo dito. May tamang susi sa bawat lock. So, para ma-determine sila kung sino sila, may tamang susi at lock. Okay? This will be discuss more ng mas malalim, more in-depth when I return. Okay? Specific immunity, the third line of defense. Lymphocytes, these are cells responsible for the specific immune response. We have two types, the B cells and the T cells. Okay, so, or NK cells are another type of T cells. So, perforations din sila, hindi sila for phagocytosis. Antigen, these are molecules that elicit specific response from lymphocytes. So, for example, yung pinakita ko before, yan, ito, antigen. Kasi gumagawa sila ng, they can generate the production of antibodies. So, for example, molecules from bacteria, fungi, virus, parasitic worms. Antigens activate B cell in producing antibodies. Okay? Yan. So, we have this diagram. This diagram shows yung dalawang klase ng immune response. We have the humoral. But humoral kasi hindi inaatake yung cells. So, ang ginagawa, magre-release na ng antibodies to sa plasma ng katawan natin, sa blood natin. Doon aatakihin yung bacteria. I-render inactive yung bacteria. Tapos, pwede na siyang patayin ng phagocytic cells. Kung gusto man nating cell-mediated, meron kang cells na mai-infect. Pag na-infect na yung cells na yon, papatayin siya ng, let's say, T cells. Pag napatay na siya, boom, yung wala ng infection, then you will have your phagocytic cell will again attack those cells na na-destroy para wala kang pakalat-kalat na debris. Okay? Recognition of antigens by B cells and T cells. Specificity is possible because of membrane-bound antigen receptor. So, yun nga, MHC, DID. Antigen receptor, sila yung MHC. And then, narekinain sila, magkakaroon ka ng antigen MHC complex. B-cell antigen receptor, transmembrane version of antibodies. Yung mga hindi pa natatanggal, taga-ID sila, taga-identify. Also called membrane antibodies. T-cell antigen receptor, called T-cell receptor, structurally related to membrane antibodies. T-cell receptor never release in secreted form. What they do is that once they na-attach doon yung APC, MHC complex ng isang not APC, antigen MHC complex ng isang APC, ang mangyayari is that the T cell will be activated to release perforins or chemicals that can perforate, that can lyse the infected cell. Okay? So, that will be the fourth